Kickoffs is Manchester United. I'm joined by Faz. Faz, how's it going? I see you got, the new trim. Match day is back. International break's boring, isn't it?
It was so boring. I've got a bit of butterfly feeling today. A little bit of excitement just to see the players. I don't know why I'm so excited, knowing some players are going to probably make some mistakes. There's going to be some errors. No gaffer on the sideline, on the touchline today. But international break was really not needed. But as much as I say that, probably some of the lads needed it, right?
Yeah,
they needed bit of rest. The gaffer needed a bit of rest. They needed a bit of reset. And we're here, and I'm excited. The Premier League officially starts today. That's how I look at it.
You walked into this studio this afternoon saying title charge. Do you believe that?
No, Hex? But I'm a kid at heart. I'm a kid at heart, and I look at some of the other teams, how they playing, and us getting Luke Shaw back, us getting some of the players back. I'm obviously not saying title charge, obviously, but it'd be nice. It'd be nice. I just pumped myself up a little bit by saying that. But it'd be nice if Man United could get a decent 3 points today and climb the table.
I completely agree. And you touched on there, you said no gaffer on the touchline. Do you think that makes a massive difference to the Manchester United players with no Ten Hag on the touchline? I saw the Chelsea fans were out in full steam yesterday saying, "Oh, we lost because Pochettino was in the stands." I don't buy that personally.
Look, it's a yin and yang. It's a balance. First thing is, does Eric Ten Hag is he really vocal and vibrant on the touchline? Like the Mourinho's or the other managers like the Sir Alex used to be, or even Klopp, for example. But then it's important to have your manager on the sideline just so he can dictate to the players what he wants them to do if they're making mistakes, if he spots anything. So it's going to be a miss regardless, because it's always important for your manager to be there to help the team. But then I'm hoping he's obviously planned for this. Yeah. The surprising thing for me, Sam, is the fact that he got yellow cards in the first place. Yeah. I actually didn't know that he was going to be off the sideline today until the news actually came out. I never even kept track of when he was getting the yellow cards because they weren't showing it on the TV, I didn't notice in the stadium. It was a very quiet thing. Even the build-up to the last game, you would expect the TV presenters or whoever to mention if Eric gets a yellow card today, by the way, after international break. Nothing was mentioned.
Yeah, especially all of a sudden, United manager
right,
as well.
In the build-up. Even we didn't mention it because I think it slipped out of everyone's mind. Yeah. But it also shows that as the time's gone on for Eric Ten Hag in Manchester United, he's obviously become more vocal on the sideline, and he's been upset with the referees, clearly, for the decisions they've been making. But we've got Steve McLaren, we've got Van der Gaag, we have to trust him.
Exactly. I'm fully with you on that. Let's talk about how we expect United to line up today. Ten Hag confirming in his media that he did with MUTV that Luke Shaw is back in the squad. How much would you like to see him start today? I
wouldn't want to see him start.
You don't want to see him start?
No, I don't want to see him start.
Okay.
Because I've been really traumatized by our injuries this season, especially some of them where the players have come back and they've gotten injured straight away again. The likes of Varane, the likes of Casemiro, the likes of Martinez, Luke Shaw, even Reguilon, for example, who's a loanee signing, is come in, had a few performances, and then boom, injured again. I want to make sure he takes his time with his injuries, because now coming towards the business, second half of the season, December, January, we want to make sure that the players that are coming back, they're coming back 100% ready to tackle Premier League football right up until the next international break. So, yeah, I don't want to see him rushed back. I do feel like it's a slight bit of rush back because Johnny Evans is out and Luke Shaw can play that left centre-back role. So I just want to be very patient, very patient. And we need numbers. We need Luke Shaw, especially as well, because there's no sign of Malacia. Tyrell Malacia is still AWOL. I don't know where he is.
There has to be something going on there.
I don't know, zero information about Tyrell. Funny enough, Eric had mentioned, I think 4 weeks ago, that he was supposed to be back by now. Yeah. But he's still not back, so can't be risking Luke Shaw.
Let's touch on some news coming in from the MEN. And this is coming from Samuel Lutka, so I want to get your opinion straight off the back of this. Donny van der Beek has arrived at Goodison Park with the Manchester United squad. Donny van der Beek is there. So is Bruno. So is Maguire. Kobe Mainoo's there. Hannibal's there. Varane is there. Everyone who we expect to be there is there. The MEN Live blog doesn't have Højlund on, but they don't have the entire squad, so it may...
Producer, get the camera. Get the camera on me.
They may have just missed him coming in. But Donny is there. Surely we don't see a Van der Beek start.
Van der Beek.
You think he starts?
Van der Beek. Van der Beek, mate. That's all I have to say.
Tell us why.
Listen,
why are you ecstatic at this?
Look,
he came out earlier in the week and said he needs to play.
Yeah, he needs to play. Whether he's a good player, bad player, poor performance or not, we need players. That's all. We just need players on the bench that can come and prove something to the starting 11, to the manager, that I can be of some assistance to you. Our season's not gone well, right? It's not started well. Every player who's not been given the opportunity so far needs to take this moment and say, the team's not performing well. There's clearly imbalance in the midfield, in the defence, because of injuries, because of whatever. Let me come and use this opportunity to have a good run of games and work my way into the starting 11. Look, Garnacho's doing it, right? Even though he's not pulling up trees, but because Rashford's not been performing, it's an opportunity for Garnacho. Pellistri's the same thing. Anthony's not performing. It gives Pellistri an opportunity. Same thing for Donny van der Beek. Yes, there's competition in this position, numerous players, but we know that in-game management is key. What's to say Donny van der Beek can't come on for 30 minutes, 20 minutes and give us some good moments, give us some energy in the midfield, and we can do with him. We 100% can. Mason Mount has come in, not pulled up trees. He's got an injury. Eriksen's got an injury. It's Bruno, Scott, Casemiro's out, Amrabat's there, who's not pulled up trees. It's time for Donny van der Beek to play and to show us what he's capable of. It's only better for him. And Erik's worked with him. If there's any player that Ten Hag knows through and through, it's Donny van der Beek.
What do you think has gone wrong with Donny van der Beek?
I think I'm under the impression that Donny van der Beek and the club have had a little fallout over the transfer period, because he was supposed to leave and he was supposed to go and play minutes.
Yeah, interesting.
At 26 years of age, if you're not playing regular minutes, whether you're having bad or good performance, if he's not playing minutes, you're going to feel upset. It's plain as simple. It's plain as day. So he's probably been upset with the club for the Real Sociedad deal that fell apart, and he's obviously rejected a club. He clearly demanded a better club to go to, and it didn't happen. And now he's not in the starting 11 or in the squad. Many games he's not even in the squad. So probably just a little fallout. But like I say, what's gone is gone. Use today's game, and I hope they can utilise him some way.
So tell me this: Kobe Mainoo is also with the Manchester United squad at Goodison Park. What would your ideal midfield be today?
Listen. It's very hard for me to throw Kobe Mainoo onto the starting 11. I find it very, very hard, because I want to be very, very protective, extremely protective with him. I remember, I keep referring to the game where Garnacho had a poor performance. Was it last season? And there was a huge section of the fan base.
It's interesting. I was actually saying that. I said, I was actually speaking to someone yesterday, and I said, if Mainoo starts today and doesn't perform, then everyone who was hyping him up is now saying, what are we doing? Do you know what I mean? I think you're right in what you're saying.
Yeah, got to be careful, very, very careful. He's having good moments in the academy. He's got huge abundance of talent. It's important to bring on players like that when you're actually winning, and it gives them kind of a little bit of calmness. You don't have nerves. You don't feel the extra bit of pressure. Yes, it's Manchester United. Yes, it's full of pressure, but not right now. The season's not going well. Let the senior boys handle it, and I wouldn't start him. I'd probably go Amrabat, Scott McTominay, and Bruno Fernandes. That's what I'd go with.
If possible, can we get a poll going in the chat? Should Kobe Mainoo start today? Yes or no? Colin Felix, super chat there. Get your super chats in if you want me and Faz to, answer your questions. Colin says we should have extended Weghorst's loan for 6 months.
No comment. I'm not even gonna. I'm not. No. What are you thinking? Why? Why would you want... You should be... Instead of that, with all due respect, a super chat should have said we should have signed Marcus Thuram on a free. A 26-year-old forward who plays for France, who's got huge abundance of talent, has got Ballon d'Or DNA in him, and he's doing really well in Inter. And watch Inter make money out of him next summer, selling him for, 50, 60, 70 million. That's the type of player we should have been signing on a free, not Weghorst extending loan. That poll is now live in the chat. Should Kobe Mainoo start today? 100 votes already, 79% already saying yes. Jarek, member for 1 month, says hello. So...
Hello, and thank you for your comment. Let's talk front three. Let's talk about Anthony. Anthony hasn't, he's going through a rough patch at the moment. He's obviously had all the stuff off the pitch, and when he's come back, he's not been at his, he's not been at his best. He's not been very sharp. Would you start Anthony today?
No.
No?
I wouldn't start Anthony today. No. Clearly, there's things off the pitch that is probably affecting him that we're not aware of. And obviously, the news that had come out, good few months back, and we noticed the reason why he wasn't performing. It's no point keep playing him when you've got Facundo Pellistri, who starts for Uruguay, and he does well. And again, he might not be the most flairiest winger. He might not be the most, the best winger that we've got. But it's time to give those players opportunities. It's time to get those players, to trust those players, basically. If Eric Ten Hag can trust Anthony so much, but he's benched him last couple of games, it's important that he has that trust in Facundo Pellistri. And Facundo's no young lad. He's not 19, 20. I think he's 22 years old, and that's a good age for him to start for Manchester United. And he's given us a huge abundance of energy, something that Eric mentions all the time. He works hard. He plays like he's got a point to prove.
So we will hopefully be getting that team in around 5 minutes' time. But let's talk about Raphael Varane. Let's talk about what is going on at centre-back. There's mixed reports. Some say Varane and Ten Hag are on good terms. Others say Varane was unhappy with being dropped for the derby. How do you see the Varane situation? Do you actually think there's something wrong, or do you just think Ten Hag just prefers Maguire and Lindelof?
No, I think there's something wrong. There's something clearly wrong. The amount of trophies that Raphael Varane has got, it's inevitable for a player like Raphael Varane to feel a bit disrespected, whether we like it or not. I am going to put myself in the mindset of if I was Raphael Varane. Obviously, I can't fully imagine, but if I was a player like Raphael Varane, who's got all this accolade, I've come to Manchester United, I've retired from international football and given my 100% to Manchester United, and last season I've had a good season. Yes, I've got injuries, but you don't say you're picking other players over me over tactical reasons against City. That's just, you've done similar thing with Ronaldo when you said you don't want to disrespect him by bringing him on. That's not how it works. It's a big game. Players like Raphael Varane would want to play. And more than anything, if you're the manager of Manchester United, you full well know that you need the buy-in of players. You can't have players falling out with you when the season's not going well. It totally works when you're City, when you're Arsenal, maybe even Spurs, Newcastle, because you have the full backing of the board, you have the full backing of the owners. They're ruthless. That's no problem. You're winning. It's okay. But with Manchester United right now, you're not winning. So the tolerance level of players are going to be lower. When a team's winning, a manager can say a lot of things and players almost have to bite the bullet because the team's winning. You can't really complain. But when the team's not winning and you say stuff like that, it can affect the players and it can affect the dressing room.
So, rumour has it that Kobbie Mainoo's in the starting 11. We're waiting for confirmation, but early rumours are that Kobbie Mainoo's in. I've just received a message from somebody close to Manchester United saying, remember the saying years ago about winning nothing with kids? This starting 11 makes me feel old. Wow, okay. Let's see how true it is. We're waiting any minute. But which youngsters would you like to see today? Would you like to see Garnacho start?
Yeah. It needs to be a regular pattern of Garnacho playing minutes and showing what he can do. He's had some good performances, but he's also had some poor moments where, for example, Newcastle game, he lost the ball easily. I've seen regular occurrence of him being direct that we want him to be, but not protecting the ball as much as a winger. And this is something that is going to develop with age and experience, and for that he needs to be playing. But excuse me, speaking of the front line, I think it's going to be Rashford, Garnacho and Martial today. I feel like that's what it's going to be, the front line. But I wouldn't mind starting Garnacho at all. No, not at all. And he scored against Everton as well, hasn't he? Last season, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that was Fulham.
Fulham.
I think it was Fulham. I think it was Fulham. We're still waiting for the starting 11. Should come through any minute. But let's talk a bit, about the game. Obviously, Everton, 10 points deduction.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to play a massive impact? Will they be fighting, especially for the badge today?
Yeah, every point is important for them. A club like Everton, you know, the size of the club, the stature of the club, I don't think they'd want to play championship football. They shouldn't be in the championship. The 10-point deduction is going to hurt them quite a bit. They would have been, 13th or something if they didn't have that deduction. So what a way for Sean Dyche to show to the Evertonians that, you know, he's the man for the job by fighting and clawing themselves out of relegation. And what a way to do that and start that off by beating Manchester United. So he's going to be really, really, really hyped up. His players are going to be really hyped up. The fans are clearly going to be behind them. But we can also use that to our advantage. If we can manage to get an early goal, the Everton fans will probably turn on themselves quicker than anything, right? If we start scoring a goal or two early on in the game, we can use that silence for our benefit, and they'll be obviously the away fans, the Manchester United away fans will be behind the players, and we can put the game to bed. But Sean Dyche is gonna play probably even for a point. If you ask him would he take a point against Manchester United, he would snatch it out of your hands. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a real tough one, real tough one. I know that they don't have Amadou Onana in their starting lineup, which is a big miss for them. But I think Calvert-Lewin is in there, isn't it? So I'm hoping to see how Man United defend, because I've said that. What was it? Was it Palace game, if I'm not mistaken, or Brentford game? I think I said that we need to be more consistent in defending for 90 minutes whole game, because teams who play us almost at times play to just get a point, or if they nick a goal, they just lock up the shop. So I don't want that to happen today, where we're almost struggling and having to get last-minute winners. It just doesn't work well for Manchester United. We're scraping it that way. I'm not expecting a massive performance. I'm not expecting a top-class, total football, but an early goal and then a second goal maybe, or a third goal in the second half, and put the game to bed. Because if they hold on to a 0-0 throughout the game, the probability of them scoring gets higher and higher, from a corner kick, from a set piece, from a lucky, goal, from a mistake from one of our defenders, and then, Sean Dyche football, right? 4-4-2, 4-4-1-1. He's just going to absolutely lock it up and make it really hard for us. And in the 3-1-6 or 2-1-7 system that we play, we find it very, very hard to break down teams. We've always found it hard to break down teams. Our front line isn't firing at all. So I don't expect us to come back if Everton end up getting the first goal.
OK, it's time for your Manchester United starting 11. Yes, let's do this. Let me just bring it up. Onana in goal, fit and starts after an international break injury scare. Diogo Dalot at right back. No Aaron Wan-Bissaka in the starting 11. No Raphael Varane in the starting 11. It is Lindelof and Maguire. Luke Shaw is at left back. He returns in what I think is a big boost to the Manchester United starting 11. Kobe Mainoo starts.
No way.
Scott McTominay starts alongside him. Bruno also starts. Rashford starts. No Rasmus Højlund. Anthony Martial starts. And also Garnacho. So that is Onana, Dalot, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw, Mainoo, McTominay, Bruno, Rashford, Martial, Garnacho. That is your Manchester United starting 11. Faz, what are you thinking about that?
I'm just very, very surprised by Kobe Mainoo starting today. Very, very, very surprised. Do we have the graphics up for the starting 11? Because I just wanted to see. But
and let me do the Everton starting 11 if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Pickford, Young, Tarkowski, Braithwaite, Mikalenko, McNeil, Gay, Garner, Harrison, Decore, Dominic, Calvert-Lewin. Does Dominic Calvert-Lewin scare you? He scares me a little bit.
Not last season. It was the season before, where he was having a good, fantastic time, and it's one of them. You don't know how players. Firstly, any striker playing against Man United, they're going to be extra motivated to score. Without a shadow of a doubt, they're going to be extra motivated to score. Calvert-Lewin is not the best striker in the Premier League, but he's an out-and-out forward who gets in the right positions, right time, and his finishing is going to be the biggest question today. Can he put the ball in the back of the net if he gets a chance? And he might only get one chance. Is he that type of striker? I don't frankly think so. So he doesn't scare me as much as other Man United fans find him scary. But then saying that, I'm the king of jinx. I've probably jinxed it now, saying that he's gonna score probably a worldie. Which I hope not.
Let's unpick this Manchester United starting 11, Faz. So let's start with the back line. Dalot, no Wan-Bissaka. I know obviously you're a big fan of Dalot. Anything to comment there or not really?
I don't need Wan-Bissaka in this game to start off with because they're not going to be attacking us from minute one. We're going to be attacking them more throughout the game, and if we're talking about attacking, we're going to need Diogo Dalot because he's the best attacking right back or full back we have, other than Luke Shaw. He can score a goal as well. We've seen that this season. He can, cross a ball in, hard and low. We've seen that as well. Yes, he's had some bad mistakes. But again, what else options do we have? We don't really need Bissaka to be making 1v1 defending today. I think he should be fine. He should be perfectly fine, inverting in, overloading the final third, trying to help the forward line maybe with the assist. So yeah, I'm happy with Dalot. Also, Shaw starting is a very interesting one because obviously just a couple of minutes ago I said I wouldn't start Luke Shaw.
Jinx.
But yeah, I'm just the jinx monster. I'm a bit concerned because don't forget when.
See, I don't know if I'm with you on that. I think Shaw being back is
but
better
I'll tell
than
you why.
ever. But he's got Garnacho, he hasn't got Rashford.
Right, he's got Garnacho, he's not got Rashford.
Dalot's got Rashford, though.
If there's one pairing that works on either of the flanks, it's Rashford and Luke Shaw. They know each other more than any partnership. Not even Anthony and Dalot worked as good as Rashford and Luke Shaw because they've played so many years together. But remember when remember when Martinez started the season and we were like, he's a bit shaky. He's not had a good start. It's because he was carrying an injury.
Yeah.
And yes, maybe Luke Shaw is fit, but he might. I just don't think he's ready to start straight away. I think it's more so Reguilon might not be fully ready to be playing, and Luke Shaw's a bit more sharper as of now. But like I say, I don't know behind the scenes. Maybe Luke has progressed his rehab a lot quicker. Maybe he's done more fitness.
Well, the rumour is that he's had 2 full weeks of training, sure.
Right, so that might be the case. And if that's the case, then sure. I would have thought he would have eased him in. But let's see. I just hope he has a good performance. That's the most important thing. I hope he has a good performance. I hope that we can get a Luke Shaw left foot and a Martial right foot, something along those lines.
Somewhere, Ricky is watching this at home or on his way here
with
McTominay and Martial in that starting 11. He's going to be beside himself. Let's move on to the midfield. Kobe Mainoo and McTominay. Bruno, I'm still team Bruno. Team Bruno, of course. McTominay, he's actually one of my players to watch, but we'll touch on that. What do you think, McTominay? Are you a fan?
Look, he's had good moments this season. Internationally, obviously, he's absolutely killing it. But I can't put a whole lot of faith in Scott McTominay, knowing the issues that have happened before with him, with his performances, and the fact that the club wanted to sell him was clearly an indication that they wanted to move on from Scott McTominay, and now keeping Scott in there, it just almost makes me feel like, are we really building this midfield? Is this a building block? Whereas you have if there was Amrabat today and Kobe Mainoo and Bruno, I would have thought this is the type of midfield we're going to be looking at in the future.
Do you think we'll sign Amrabat permanently?
No, I don't think so as well.
Same.
I don't think so. We didn't keep Marcel Sabitzer. I don't think we're going to keep.
Exactly.
Amrabat.
Let me read some of your super chats. Darren Mullaney says, I think in January we should sign De Ligt and Sesko. Mohamed Isma says, if Amrabat don't start, then it is alarming. We should not buy him. Great show. Keep up the work. Ian says, Foz, love you, mate. The jacket is good, but should be red.
Yeah. Maybe I might get a red one.
Maybe he's going to get a red one, Ian. So Darren Mullaney there in the super chat said we should sign De Ligt and Sesko. Sesko was closely linked to United, and there were talks between the parties. Thoughts on that? Doesn't bother you?
Doesn't bother me. Happy with Rasmus Højlund. Absolutely happy with Rasmus Højlund. No problem. I think we got the better deal with Rasmus Højlund. We overpaid, but Rasmus Højlund's I think way higher ceiling in my opinion, as we have seen. So, yeah.
Yes.
But Kobe Mino starting in the
Kobe
midfield
Mainoo
with
is
Bruno
starting.
Fernandes.
We're going to be joined by an Everton fan any minute now, but let's just unpick the Everton starting 11 and then we'll ask our Everton fan his thoughts on it as well. Obviously, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's there, Decore's there, ex-Man United player Ashley Young's there.
Ugh.
Anything alarming there? Not really.
No, they're going to be defended more than anything. It's all about defensive football with Sean Dyche. So most scary thing is the counter attack. We don't have defenders with good recovery pace in the back line. What is it? Maguire and Lindelof, both of them are not good when it comes to opposition team countering us. And if any given moment they manage to find a pass or a line breaking pass or a ball over the top in a counter attack, Maguire and Lindelof need to be really, really, really awake. And communication is key. You know, Harry Maguire has blatantly said before that I've not had. He's almost like not blamed, but spoken about his centre-back partnership, if you remember, in an interview, that he's not had stable partnership before.
Yeah, he says he always has to change.
He always has to change.
Has to always change.
Lindelof and Harry Maguire and Lindelof have played together, for a long time, so they should know each other well. It's communication more than anything, because I see numerous patterns where one of the centre-back is not communicating to the other one and making them aware if a player is behind him or in front of him. So yeah, it's communication.
It does look like Varane and probably Casemiro will
and
be
a
off
far
in January.
post. Listen, Diego Dallo's on the pitch. A far post cross from Everton, and the ball's going in the back of the net because Dallo's not good defending his far post.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously interesting, and there's always talking points with Manchester United. We will be joined by that Everton fan any minute now. But for the meantime, can I grab your score prediction based off the team news?
Oh, based off the team news. Listen, at the start, I told our group chat it's going to be 1-1.
Yes, you did.
I said it's going to be 1-1, but Martial is on the pitch, and I have such a love and hate relationship with that Anthony Martial. I think he's so beautiful.
No.
Well, yeah, he is. He's probably the best looking player in our Manchester United squad, apart from Varane. But anyways,
yeah, that wasn't what I asked.
Oh, ignore me. Don't clip this up. I think it's going to be 2-1 Manchester United. Rashford, Martial, Rashford off the right, Garnacho off the left. I think, yeah, it's going to be 2-1 Manchester United.
Does that Rashford off the right excite you more?
Yes.
Rashford off the
does.
left?
Yes. He does cross the ball like he's trying to beat the world record for the hardest cross. I don't know. His crosses are so zipped in. It's not a floating almost ball. It's almost like he's shooting. But we know his right foot is really good off the right. He's shown he's got an assist in the Champions League off that. And he's clearly crosses the ball more with his right foot. So yes, it does excite me. I'm hoping he can do that. So that's a good positive for the people who think I'm always critical on Eric Ten Hag. I like that he's done that. He's put Rashford on the right. We're
joined now by our Evertonian. He's actually from Scotland. We're joined by an Everton fan from Scotland. His name is Callum. Callum, are you with us? How is it going?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, thank you, mate. Let's get straight into it. Your starting 11 is Pickford, Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikalenko, McNeil, Gay, Garner, Harrison, Decore, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Who do you see as key players in that Everton lineup? And Faz, also James Garner as well, ex-Man United.
Oh, yeah, we'll speak on it.
Callum, take it away.
Well, I think out the starting 11 you've just named, obviously James Garner has been key for us. Vitaly Mikalenko has actually came into quite a nice wee vein of form. He's managed to score in his last 2 games before the international break, so I think they two are always our main threat. In set pieces, you've got Tarkowski and Idrissa Gana Gueye. Sorry, not Idrissa Gana Gueye, Jared Branthwaite. I think they two are our biggest threats from set pieces, and obviously Branthwaite being linked to yourselves in the transfer window, having signed this new, I think, 5-year deal, should make up for an exciting tie.
Yeah, I mean, great points there. How do you assess your recent form? And also, can you give people in the chat who might not be fully aware of the situation, what's going on with Everton's financial situation? Obviously, the 10 points deduction that's happened in this international break.
Yes, obviously we came in before the international break up to 14th in the league, kind of pushing for top 10. Some people made it through at the Carabao Cup quarter-final, so obviously there's this bit of a buzz that go on and win the Cup and potentially play European football. But obviously, around about during the international break, that surprising judgment that shocked pretty much everyone around the club had actually came out, 10-point deduction, which surprised for, I believe, from reading the document, it surrounds a tax issue with payments for our new 57,000-seater stadium.
What do you
So,
think?
obviously-
What was your initial reaction when you heard the news that 10 points were getting cut off?
So obviously I saw the judgment when I was with a couple of West Ham fans who really quite enjoyed laughing at it. But obviously it's a bit of shock. Everyone that I've known connected to Everton have been kind of shocked and dismayed. They weren't expecting that. And obviously what I've really noticed is the kind of united front amongst the fan base, kind of thinking, Rick, this isn't on. We need to basically fight this. Obviously we've had the protest outside the Premier League headquarters on Friday. There was a plane that the 1878 group funded from, I believe, about £40,000 worth of fan donations that flew over the Etihad during the game at lunchtime yesterday. And obviously today is like the big game of action, flags, everything throughout the Premier League.
Sean Dyche, in his pre-match speaking to the media, said that Everton are ready for a challenge. What's your expectations for today's game? And then Faz has some questions for you.
I think it will be a tough game, but obviously I think for United, it'll be basically coming into a bear pit. Because Goodison is the last place you want to go when Evertonians get angry. That's the last place you want to be, and unfortunately, you're the victim of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be very, very interesting. Faz, over to you, your questions.
Listen, my first question for you, Callum, look, James Garner, I rate him extremely, extremely highly, right? And last season, a lot of people had said, he doesn't get into Everton's starting 11, but clearly you guys have taken a lot of patience with him and he's now showing his qualities. Talk to me about that midfield of yours with now no Onana in there, who brings in a lot of physicality, a lot of energy, and midfield is probably our weak point at the moment, probably our weakest point. Looking at our midfield with Scott McTominay, Maino and Bruno, who do you think comes out on top between your midfield and ours?
So obviously Sam knows this. I've got a bit of a favouritism towards kind of Scott McTominay because of the Scottish connection.
Sure.
But on James Garner, I think the issue last season was before we went on our World Cup break tour to Australia, he suffered kind of like a back injury that kept him out for quite a long time. So it's kind of an issue for him trying to break in. Obviously, Doucouré, when Dyche came in, he got into a real kind of rich brain of form, scored the goal to keep us up. Amadou Onana really continuing to improve, and Idrissa Ganagay is generally still like one of our best midfielders, I'd say. But I think midfield will be the most interesting battle. I think you might have a tiny bit more of a slight advantage with Doucouré, with Onana missing, but I think that's where the game will mainly be fought.
And what about Calvert-Lewin? He's not been firing, to be honest, for Everton. He's got the odd goals here and there, but obviously I shouldn't be talking too much because he's got more goals than our forwards. But how important is he today for your team? Because you're going to be defending majority of the game. That's what Sean Dyche football is. But are you expecting maybe on a counter-attack for Calvert-Lewin to use his pace and strength to maybe get a goal? Do you think a goal can come from him today?
Yes, 100%. Obviously, it's been well documented that Dominic's had his very severe kind of injury issues, and I think what Sean Dyche has done is key, is basically given him the time, not rushed him back, not put him in the spotlight, just let him, even though it was kind of annoying the fans. But once that's done, Dominic's been probably really in his best form since the early Ancelotti days.
And last question, your bench. If, I'm presuming the kind of feeling around the Everton fans is that if, let's say, you stretch the game 0-0 to like 60th minute, 70th minute, maybe Sean Dyche looks at his bench and thinks, let's go for it, let's maybe try and get a goal. Who are you kind of thinking of from the bench who's going to come in and maybe give you that extra push to maybe secure 3 points? Or if it's 1-0 to us, maybe secure a point?
So I think, obviously, Arnaut Danjuma was really good down his Bournemouth days in the Champions League for Villarreal. I'd say Lewis Dobbin, who is a really highly rated young winger for us. I think he could come on and change the game. And obviously Yusuf Chermete, we signed him in the summer from, Sporting Lisbon for about £28 million. And he is young, but when he's came on, he's shown kind of glimpses in that. And I think if we do score a late winner, it might actually come from Yusuf.
I think that Portuguese player that you mentioned, Chermete, I'm excited to see if he gets to play today. I've watched him a little bit, and he looks exciting for his age, anyways. And he comes from a very, very good footballing background. So yeah, that's all the questions from me. Do you have any questions for us, by any chance?
Do you have anything?
No, not really.
Okay, well, I'll ask you this then: if you had to pick one player from Manchester United to play for Everton, who would it be? And don't pick Bruno Fernandes for the sake.
You can't say McTominay either.
Okay, well, he's gonna have a bias.
Against
he's gonna have a bias.
He's already.
No, by the way, you can pick Bruno if you want, but yeah, who would you pick?
So obviously, my main one would be McTominay. But if I had to pick someone that's not McTominay, I'm going to go a bit out there and say Harry Maguire.
Wow.
I think in a Sean Dyche team, I think he would thrive.
We've got a team for Harry Maguire, mate. 30 million. You can have him. You can have him this summer. Where were you last summer when we wanted to sell him? But yeah, that's actually an interesting point. In Sean Dyche's system, Harry Maguire would probably flourish. Yeah, in a defensive kind of team. So that's an interesting one.
Yeah, Callum, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Thanks very much, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, just a couple of bits of news that we missed. The Manchester United bench is now out. Let me touch on that. That's Bayindir, Wan-Bissaka, Varane bench, Reguilon, Van der Beek, Amrabat. Hugh Gill makes the bench. Very, very good day for him. Hannibal and Palestri. So, no Rasmus Højlund on the bench. Injured, not match fit. No Anthony on the bench. I can tell you why. There's no Anthony on the bench for Manchester United today. From my understanding, he is out of the game due to muscle pain. It's a minor injury. He should be back for the next game. But as I understand it, Anthony is out of this game due to muscle pain. I'm being told through WhatsApp at the moment. No, so no Højlund and no Anthony at all, not even options on the bench. Massively affect you? No, I assume not.
No. I'll tell you why. I put a lot of weight on senior players who've been in this club, for many, many years. Martial being one of them. And the workload needs to be shared out regardless. We knew this when we signed Rasmus Højlund. Ladies and gentlemen, he can't play 2 games a week. That was the exact report. He's got a back condition. He's got a little back injury that it needs to be monitored, needs to be looked after, and we can't play him to the ground. We can't afford that, and especially at his critical age, 20 years of age, 2021, we can't be affording that, and we need him for the Champions League because he's firing in the Champions League, he scores in the Champions League, and if we want any form of hope to beat Galatasaray and Bayern Munich, considering the form that he's in the Champions League and the goals that he's scoring, I'd rather keep him for the Champions League because we really need to beat Galatasaray. So, yeah, I'm okay. And Martial, he's been fit every single match this season. So, considering that, he should be fine. But then, surprise, surprise, was it not last season against Everton that he got injured in the warm-up and he was limping at the start? And if I'm not mistaken, he was asking the manager that he wants to play regardless, which is, credit to him. But touch wood, nothing like that happens today, and Martial has a good, solid 90 minutes.
Let's touch now on previous meetings between Manchester United and Everton. I have got them written down, so don't you worry about that, Faz. But first, we are coming to you live in New York Century Hall, December 11th. Faz is going to be there. I'm going to be there. It's the Not So Silent Christmas Night hosted live by Mark himself. Tickets are selling fast. The link is in the description, and I believe there is a graphic to either my left or right. So if you want, you can scan the QR code and get your tickets, and we will see you there. It's the day before the Bayern Munich game. Enjoy those couple of days, and especially enjoy the night before, because there is zero chance we beat Bayern Munich. So you may as well.
No, there is not. No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say there's zero chance.
No.
I'll tell you why. Bayern Munich, they've already qualified. They're okay.
That's true as well. Yeah.
They're okay. They could do with resting their players. And they don't need to beat us to make any statement at all. So I don't think they'll be as motivated. Well, they will be motivated. It's Manchester United, but from the manager's perspective, he won't need to risk any players because we really need to go out fighting. So yeah, I'm hoping that's the case and they don't put out their strongest 11.
Let's talk now previous meetings. And if you want to have your say with Faz or with myself or with Mark or Beth, the whole team is going to be there. Then get your tickets and come up to us and say, what's going to happen in that Bayern game.
If you listen, if there's anything you want to ask me, anything you want to don't like what I say, Sam, Beth, whatever, come to the show and ask all your questions. And I always personally, I love meeting people who watch the platform. Also, by the way, for the thousands of people that are watching, make sure you comment down below on the live stream with the flags where you are watching from. I want to see a whole ocean of flags because I love seeing all the countries that people are watching from. It always interests me. So comment your flags now and I'll catch up on it later.
Yes, get those in the chat. Now, let's actually talk previous meetings. The last time Everton beat Manchester United was, go on, give me the year.
2 seasons ago, 2-1, was it?
2022.
2 seasons.
It was
last
April
season?
9th, 2022. Ralph Rangnick was Manchester United manager and Anthony Gordon scored the only goal in that game. Then, October 22, United beat Everton 2-1 under Ten Hag's management with goals from Anthony, who's out today due to muscle pain, minor injury, let's stress that, and Cristiano Ronaldo, who obviously no longer plays for Manchester United. Then the FA Cup, United won 3-1, and most recently 2-0 when McTominay and Martial, who both start today for Manchester United, scored. Goals from McTominay and Martial today,
it could be. McTominay is clearly helping us so much. I don't know what's happened with McTominay and Maguire, but it could be that Scott McTominay. But I don't think Scott is going to score today. I'll tell you why. He's going to clearly have to play the deeper role, isn't he? Who's going to play the DM? Who's going to play the 6? It's not going to be... There's no way Eric Ten Hag lets Kubi play the singular DM role. Might be a double pivot. Might be a Scott McTominay and Kubi, and they take turns in going forward. And it could even surprise you that Kubi plays deeper, Bruno plays next to him, and Scott McTominay plays further forward. That might happen as well, but we'll wait and see.
Just some news I also want to get your initial reaction on. Tottenham and Aston Villa are playing right now. Villa have gone 2-1 up with a goal from Ollie Watkins. They were 1 down and now they're 2 up. It was a link-up play between Yuri Tielemans and then Ollie Watkins put it in the back of the net. Do you see Villa as...
Stop right there.
Go on.
Stop right there. Because I'm going to get mad.
Uh-oh.
I said Tielemans to Manchester United fans. I'm sorry, but people keep telling me that you keep doing this point scoring. I said Tielemans. Time and time again. And Manchester United fans didn't want him because apparently he doesn't have legs. And look at him. Pau Torres as well. Look at him. We should have been getting Yuri Tielemans. He's a top-class player. He's a top player. Under Unai Emery, everything is good evening. And it's working.
Everything is good.
It's working. They're the dark horse right now. Look at how they're performing. They're fighting with the top teams in the Premier League to come maybe Champions League position. That's crazy. Unai Emery, that is. He's working with less. Yuri Tielemans. We should have got that
Just
player.
while we're just touching on that game, do you think Villa, maybe if they carry on the way they are under Emery, are genuinely like we could consider rivals and like we should genuinely be scared of their position in the league?
More so because of what Unai is doing with Ollie Watkins. He's nurturing and coaching him to be that proper number 9 in between the sticks, because Ollie can, he plays almost a bit of fluid kind of football, going onto the left, going onto the right. He's a very fluid forward, but Unai is clearly trying to nurture him to stay in the middle. I was watching something about how Unai is using his previous experiences with previous strikers that he's worked with to try and nurture Ollie to get more goals out of him. Less work and more goals. That's what he needs, because he's got players around that can do that. But the way he sets out his team, Unai's clearly, listen, they've really backed him, haven't they? The higher ups of Villa, where Unai's making loads of footballing decisions as well, off the pitch as well. So it's going to be interesting. And yes, 100%, they could push easily for Europa League. That's no problem at all. They don't have that much pressure anyways on them. Yeah. That's the most important thing.
You're right.
They don't have that much pressure.
You are right. Super chat in from Ian, who says, Jamie as the moderator, Faz and Beth giving the opinion, and Mark sends him the salary requirement. I think that was his audition for United, Stan.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused as well. That was a super chat. But yeah, people are getting their flags in. Yeah. Let's touch on your players to watch, Faz. Your players to watch were Harry Maguire and Anthony Martial. You've told us that you like the way Martial looks. Do you want to comment on the way he plays football?
Yeah, he plays. Listen, he's when he came from Monaco, right? He clearly came with an aura, and it's so upsetting the way his career's panned out in Manchester United. Ever since the Mourinho time, it's not worked out. Van Gaal as well. He taught him a lot of things, but since the Mourinho Zlatan situation, he's probably lost a load of confidence. Let's be deadly honest. Do you see Martial moving like he used to? I don't see him. One thing I find very interesting, and I look at players' physicality, and without sounding a bit
weird.
Yeah, weird. He's trimmed down a little bit. I don't know if other people have noticed. He's trimmed down a little bit. And I wonder what the reasoning behind, because you almost expect strikers to be a bit strong, bit bulky, but he's trimmed down. He's not as explosive as he used to be. Clearly, that's because of the injuries. Yeah. And he's fast, but he isn't blisteringly accelerating like he used to. It's a shame how his career's panned out, because he's had a loan and been injured on his loan spell as well. But on the ball, technically, is absolute like creme de la creme, isn't he? Let's be deadly honest. They call him the Prince of Paris, Prince of France. So he's a really, really good player. I just hope the moments that he's got with us, he's going to be leaving on a free, if I'm not mistaken, this summer, isn't he? His contract runs out. There's no extension. There's no extension or anything. I think his extension was this year, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But just get the most out of him whilst you have him. That's all I can say, really. I'm an avid, anyways, that Martial should part ways. He should go play football elsewhere, because his time in Manchester United just hasn't worked out well.
Yeah, it's weird that, because there were people calling him for Ballon d'Or. Your other player to watch is Harry Maguire, who's been picking up recently.
Sorry, Sam. Yeah. One of the reasons why I actually picked Martial, I do apologise, I touched on it.
No, it's okay.
Is defensive football, Everton. You're going to need players who are able to find solutions to problems. When a team is playing defensive football, there's many different ways you can score goals. One of them is set pieces, one of them is crosses, both of which we're terrible at. So that's out the window. The next one is trying to make intricate passes and find pockets of space in and around the centre halves, in and around the full-backs, in and around the tight midfield. And that's what Martial can do. And he does that. He does that fantastically. Probably the best out of our whole team. And that's why he was one of my players to watch, because he could be that little link between him and Garnacho or him and Rashford. The wingers play better with Martial, because he can create things himself, whereas Rasmus needs to be catered for, because he's an out and out forward. He's a just blistering, going straight, giving the ball, and he'll tap it in kind of forward. Whereas Martial can drop in a little bit, just outside the box, and create something. So that's why he was my player to watch, one of my players to watch. And Harry Maguire.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Harry Maguire, you asked. Look, Harry's clearly enjoying his moment, to the point where he's replied to the Ghanaian MP, and he's clearly in the mood where let your apologies be as loud as your criticism. Harry, look, mate, you owe me a lot of good performances as a Manchester United fan. So
Tell him.
Yeah, straight up. Harry Maguire family, continue the good performances, continue the positivity, and I'm very happy that you're performing. You've still got years left on your contract. Who knows? Maybe you end up staying. Maybe Lindelof leaves. Varane might leave in January, summer. Johnny Evans isn't going to continue another season. I don't think. It's not possible. Maybe Harry Maguire stays another year. Maybe he stays till 2025. So why not? Continue the good performances. You know, be sharp. We know your strengths. We know your weaknesses. I hope the manager sees that as well. I don't see you playing in the 3-1-6 system. But just continue. Continue performing. That volley that he made in the last game. Remember that volley? I was like, this is Harry Maldini, mate. And
what comes to mind when you say Harry Maldini? Do you remember that? I think it was in the FA Cup where I can't remember who it was against. It was against a team in blue, I think, where he brought it down and then, like, from the outside of the box, smashed it top right. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's what I remember when you say that.
Look, I've always said one thing on Harry Maguire from the years of speaking on him, that one thing I will give him credit for is he thinks, and he's under the impression that he's a top-class defender. And you know what? No matter how much I say that I don't think he's a top-class defender for Manchester United and the system that we play, the fact that he believes it is very important. It is, because you have to believe it if you're a player. If you're playing for Man United and you don't think you're good enough, you're done. So if he thinks that, and he's always said one thing is, I believe in myself, and look at my stats, and look at this, and look at that, and I'm like, you know what, fair enough, now that you're performing, continue on. Let's see how long you can keep going, because we know he's got a mistake in him, and so does Lindelof.
Yeah, I mean, good points there. Well in. Sandip, welcome to the Members Club. Shall I touch on my players to watch?
Please do.
Yes, so my players to watch were Luke Shaw and Scott McTominay. Let me first touch on Scott McTominay. McTominay he's tall, first of all, and that gives us presence in the midfield, which is also, you know, helps us against maybe slightly taller opponents. Everton,
physicality.
Yeah. Also, he knows what it's like to play for Manchester United, Scott McTominay. He's been here pretty much his entire life. And in a dogfight at Goodison, when their fans are fuming, the board are fuming, the manager's fuming, and the players are fuming, it's going to be super important.
Which game was it when Scott took a picture of his foot and he said, yeah, it was like bruised up after a game?
Maybe, but that just proves my point.
Yeah, that's
he
what
loves it, and he loves to get stuck in, and he loves playing for Manchester United. So that's why I've gone with Scott McTominay. My other one is Luke Shaw. Maybe we disagreed on this, as you said you wouldn't throw him straight back in, but I said I would throw him straight back in, and that is why he is my player, one of my players to watch.
Is Reguilon in the bench?
Reguilon is on the bench.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. He can defend with his left foot, first of all, which just makes everything 10 times better. And also, I need to talk to you about how good Luke Shaw is when he's going forward.
Yeah.
I think we're missing that presence in the box. Could you imagine today? I can picture it in my head now. Luke Shaw running in, then a cross and a Martial goal, and Ricky, who's watching it with us, jumps up and says, "I'm telling you, Martial, best player in the world."
Yeah.
That's why I think Martial, that physical presence, and Luke Shaw, that attacking down that left-hand side, because we miss it with Malacia and we miss it with Reguilon. As good as they are, as nice as they are, I just think there was calls for Luke Shaw during Euro period, best left back in the world. Best left back in the world is what some people were saying about Luke Shaw, but I don't know what you'd say to people that
there
say...
is
let's say that.
Nuno Mendes. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Nuno Mendes, and I've seen Marcelo play football. It is going to be hard for me to say Luke Shaw's the best right now. Listen, let's be honest. Luke Shaw has had numerous injuries over the course of the years that he's been in. But yes, going forward, he is good. I don't want to hype up anyone just because they're here and they're back from injury. You're back. Let's start the first game off that you're back strong. Run a games, 5-6 games, and then we'll see. Because you know me, when I back a player, I'll almost get a tattoo of his name on my body. That's how much I back a player. But you hype them up, and then the next game, it's all downhill from there. So let's just see what he does today. Yes, you're right that the left foot is highly missed. It's a shame, obviously, that Rasmus isn't here today because he's not getting that cross
I would
service.
love to see that Luke
Yeah.
or Højlund.
Yeah.
But let me make you laugh. Ready for this?
Go on.
It's the 89th minute. Heung-min Son's put the ball in the back of the net for Tottenham. It's been disallowed, and that means that as I understand it, as I look at it, Son has a hat-trick of offside goals today.
What? VAR, mate. What is going on with
Let's touch on VAR.
mate?
That's a good point. Some people say it's ruining football. Some people say it's the best thing that's ever happened to football. Are you a fan of VAR?
Yes and no. The whole purpose of VAR, the concept of it, is important because, yes, you know, a lot of times you have moments in history of football where you've said, you know, how can the referee have not seen it if there was only VAR, if there's only other people, other perspectives, and I get that. But biggest concern with VAR is it's just not consistent with their decision. It's just you don't know on what day, what rule they're referring to. Frankly, does anybody actually understand the rule book? Has the PGMOL taken an avid approach to educate football world about the rules and how things work? They haven't. They're not clear with what they're doing. And frankly, I just at this point I have to be very direct, and I mean with no disrespect, but the Premier League and the PGMOL are really egotistical. They believe their system is the best, and that's a load of bollocks. Because you see the offside rule, sorry, not the offside rule, the offside technology that UEFA use, right, with the 3D and the line and everything. It's real good, and you can see it. We're here in the Premier League, the biggest league in the world, deciding offsides on subjective offside. Sorry, what the hell? And you don't explain. And the funny thing is, they've made a whole show about it on a Monday, is it? That they do the show or whenever?
Yeah, with Michael Owen, yeah.
It's a Ponzi scheme. It's shambolic. And we're being robbed. Football fans all across the world are being robbed. That's what it is. That's what it comes down to. And you're egotistical and you're full of yourselves that you don't want to accept that the offside and some of the VAR decisions are shocking. And actually, demoting referees to the championship doesn't help the situation.
But they just bring them back. So
they just bring them back. One, you
place?
bring them back. And two, you're sending referees who've made mistakes to the championship and ruining the credibility of the championship when you should be doing the opposite and increasing the credibility of the championship. Because I would hope the championship is as good as you know, some of the other leagues in the world. That the first leagues, that the league, whatever. And you're ruining the championship's reputation. So it's all an absolute mess. I could sit here and, as fickle as I can be, I could probably come up with a solution myself. Maybe remember there used to be referees next to the net. Years ago, there used to be referees next to the net. Have more referees, I don't know. Have more VAR.
More referees.
Have more referees on the side to spot things like they have in NFL. Have referees announce their decision on the pitch.
See, I'd love for a referee to do a post-match interview
Yes.
or a half-time something,
Yes.
or to be mic'd up the entire game. Will never happen, but we can only hope. Aston Villa are a few minutes away from going third level on points with Manchester City. As you touched on VAR there, that's 3 goals ruled out for Son and Tottenham, 1 chalked off for Ollie Watkins and Aston Villa. The game remains 2-1. We are in 2. I make it 3.
Spurs fans are going to be fuming.
Added time.
Yeah, Spurs fans are going to be fuming. But listen, obviously I'm not watching the game, so I don't know what the scenarios are for the 3 goals. But I just know it's going to be some weird decisions. I just know.
Ian sends in another super chat.
Yeah.
He says, I wasn't talking about an audition for the United stand. He was saying if he was Ten Hag, the first names that would be on his team sheet would be Jamie Jackson, if you're watching. Hello.
Jamie?
Who's
Jamie?
I don't know. Foz, I assume he means you.
Okay.
And Beth.
Okay. Thank you very
What about
much.
a front three of you, Jamie Jackson and Beth?
Beth likes jumping too much.
She wouldn't work for you.
No, she jumps to conclude. No, I'm joking.
Oh.
I'm joking. I'm messing with you. Yeah.
Let's actually now touch on, as we was just touched on there, Beth, her score prediction. I have it down as 1-1, and Ricky's gone with
She's changed it after.
0. Well, this is when I asked her yesterday.
Oh, right, okay.
I asked her yesterday, and she said 1-1. Ricky went with 1-0. Do you think after Ricky's seen this starting 11, he's thinking...
He's more confident. Yeah, he's way more
He's
confident.
thinking we will...
Yeah, he's way more confident. And it suits his narrative of Martial, when he's on the pitch, we are this many minutes higher up and this many minutes more goals. So obviously, what game was it when Martial played and we ended up losing a couple of games ago? But and I told him on the forum.
You
that,
did tell him.
Yeah,
I
told him.
But
Scott McTominay and Martial, the whole puzzle of Ricky FC would have been complete if Man United win today with Johnny Evans, McTominay and Martial on the pitch. If that was the case and Man United won today, I think there would have been a petition for Ricky to take over Man United and run Man United.
Ricky Hogg.
Yeah, Ricky Hogg.
MEN are confirming the news that I brought you exclusively on United Stand. Anthony out with a knock. It's muscle pain. It's not really a knock, but, you know.
It's okay. Just probably, again, need him sharper for Galatasaray game. So it's fine.
Let's touch on that Galatasaray game as it's actually coming up. It's on Wednesday. You are flying to Turkey tomorrow. Are you looking forward to it? What are your plans for when you're there?
I mean, what a way to start off my career in United Stand, covering the first Champions League game in the most hostile stadium in the world. The most hostile atmosphere that you could imagine is Galatasaray Stadium, and that's where I'm flying to. I'm literally going to hell, and I'm probably going to come back 10 shades darker after I'm back. But I'm so scared. I'll be deadly honest with you, Sam. I'm not even nervous. I'm just scared. I'm very scared. Yeah. I'm very scared.
I don't think it gets bigger for Manchester United.
Galatasaray
it doesn't get bigger.
I've been Barca. Listen, I've been Barca and I wasn't scared. Galatasaray, I am literally scared. I'm shivering.
What makes you shiver?
Wilfried Zaha.
You love Wilfried Zaha.
I absolutely adore him. I adore.
You take him at Man United?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Does he come into the starting 11?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Over Rashford?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Chat, does Wilfried Zaha start over Marcus Rashford for Manchester United? Let's
him and Rasmus Højlund, mate.
Let's just do a yes or a no.
Premier League
type it
veteran.
in the chat. Does Wilfried Zaha start over Marcus Rashford for Manchester United? I don't think so, but go on, elaborate.
Listen, Wilfried's... the thing is with Galatasaray, I think they're 25, 26, please correct me if I'm wrong. They're 25-game... not win streak. I think they've just lost to Bayern in that 25-game period. That's ridiculous. That is actually ridiculous. Okay, it's the Turkish league and whatever, but still.
So I'm seeing a lot of yeses.
Yes.
But I'm also seeing some comments from Matt. You know, our United Stands Matt. Big fish in a small pond. Just another Memphis to pay.
Get out! How could you do this? Wilfried Zaha, mate.
No way.
Zaha.
Some people say no.
Wilfried
Zaha
Zaha
starts over Rashford all day.
You're
any
crazy.
Day. He holds the ball up better, but can bring other people into play. Yes.
He was
never.
Brought to
oh my
earth.
God, what is this?
Do you know how many fullbacks he has cooked in his life? Think about that, Sam. And I hate to do this to you all, but Aaron Wan-Bissaka probably, I would love to sit down with Aaron Wan-Bissaka and ask him, what did you learn when you were playing in Palace with Zaha? Because I promise you probably learned a lot.
If he joins Ten Hag in the press conference on
I would ask
Tuesday,
him,
tell Beth,
please.
that should be our question.
Please. Well, actually, Beth can...
tell her.
He probably learned a ton of stuff, downloaded a ton of data from playing with Wilfried Zaha in Palace. And by the way, he used to be a forward, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and because of Wilfried, he ended up becoming a
This is getting lively
fullback.
in the chat. Some people are saying we saw this man fail at United. Why are we having
No, we
this
didn't see
discussion?
him fail. No, we didn't. How many games did he play? He played like two. He was involved in 2 games. What are you talking? He's a Premier League veteran.
Do you know Zaha? I don't understand where this is suddenly coming from.
No comment. Wilfried Zaha is a fantastic player. He's got aura, he's got ego, he's got pride, he's good looking, he's really good on the ball, he can shoot.
What's with you and good looking footballers?
I like good looking footballers. What's wrong with that?
Nothing's wrong with that.
Yes, I like players who have drip and style and fashion. and express themselves. And that's why
Someone said you called Di Maria a flop.
Did I? When?
Apparently.
Where did I say Di Maria is a flop? Where? Di Maria. Come on. And plus, you all in the chat, you know I am Ballers FC, Tech FC.
People are saying Zaha's bang average, though. Zaha is not the quality of Rashford.
Okay, then. And watch what Zaha does to us. Oh, boy, watch what Zaha does to us, mate. His shooting is impeccable. Left foot, right foot. He can go down the byline, cross it in. He's so, yes, he can get a bit selfish sometimes. He can throw his hands up sometimes, but he's always trying to create. And look at the players he played with in Palace. Look at the players he played with.
I'm just going to stop you there. It's game over. Tottenham have lost. Villa move into third with goals from Pau Torres and Ollie Watkins. But yeah, carry on.
Mate, and Postecoglou, mate. But he's got obviously suspension and situations going on. But Villa, Yuri Tillemans, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. And funny enough, Wilfried Zaha might go forward in the Champions League and we might not. So you better hope that we get a win in Galatasaray and Wilfried Zaha doesn't score.
Wayne says, I've thought for several years that we should have kept Zaha.
Thank you, Wayne. I love you.
It's time. We are close to finishing the show, so get your questions into the chat and me and Faz will answer them, get them in quickly so we have time. Somebody said, Nash said, Magaloff is back. Maguire and Lindelof, they're back.
Yeah.
They're back. Somebody said, Mark, who's going to win? Mark's watch along starts in 5 minutes. You can ask him. Then G says Zaha is washed.
Get out of this.
Matt says we should have kept Zaha, but obviously Moyes hated him. Yuri Tillemans isn't good, but just because he got an assist.
Hold on. Your legend, my legend, the godfather of football, the actual owner of Manchester United signed him. Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex Ferguson signed him, did he not? So end of story. Miss me with his all of this. Clearly, Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager in history, saw something in Wilfried Zaha. And he didn't get signings wrong often, did he?
Andy says, great show. Thanks from Kansas. Happy holiday season. Games coming up. Happy holidays to us, obviously. Thank you. Thanksgiving this week over in the States. Dylan says Todibo will transform this team.
Oh, no. Stop that. I'll stop you right there. Red light, not green light.
No.
Absolutely. Stop right there because you tried this. Fans tried this with Amrabat. He's going to transform. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Patience, calmer. If he comes, calmer. If he arrives at Manchester United, hallelujah, thank God, great. Give him a run of games, give him a few months, and then we'll see. We do this regularly. I'm going to use this opportunity to tell Man United fans, calmer. We keep doing this with every player that comes to Manchester United. We think they're going to transform our whole team. No.
Yeah, Matt agrees with you. United stands. Matt says no single signing will change the team single-handedly. Right, 2 minutes left of the countdown to kickoff show. Get your score predictions in the chat. I want to see them now. Get those in the chat. WWE Addict says your score predictions, boys. I went with 2-0 Manchester United. You
2-1.
went with 2-1 Manchester United.
No, 2-1.
Rory says 7, I think, of the starting 11 was starting under Louis van Gaal. This team is a shambles.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. It's a very interesting one. There's a big conversation about why Eric is not starting the players that he's brought in. Mason Mount, Amrabat, players like that regularly.
To be fair to Mason
Mount,
injuries
is the reason why. But it's a long season ahead. Not even touched halfway through the season yet. So we will see. Obviously, it's important that he gets a win. By game, remember I told you game week 15, 16.
Yeah, you did say that.
Yeah.
I'm seeing some people saying 2-1 Everton. Predicting Manchester United loss. We are going to lose. Spurs lost. Yes, we know. We celebrated 3-0 Manchester United easy. Why isn't Amrabat starting over McTominay? Says Shane.
I'll be honest. I think Amrabat he came in injured, didn't he? And then he started off his career in Man United playing left back, which didn't go down well. He looked okay, but that's not his position. Made some mistakes against Galatasaray game. It's probably, I think Eric Ten Hag is playing the safe bet and playing McTominay because Scott is having good moments, better moments than Amrabat. So what's the point of putting Amrabat in when Scott has clearly got momentum of performance? So, and he talks about rewarding players for good performances.
That's true.
Yeah.
Zaha, nope. Franco, you've got Zaha stuck in my head. Franco, member for 50 months.
Wow, thank you very much for your
Thank
loyalty.
you very much. Says Zaha, so that is why I just called him Zaha, is a baller. He had to go because Louis van Gaal told him if he wanted to stay, he'd have to become a wing back, and he couldn't do that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So some people saying Rashford hat-trick. Somebody said we'll go one down and then we'll win. But somebody came back at you and said Amrabat's never been given a chance.
Never been given a chance is a very interesting way of looking at it. Every game that you play is a chance. Every game. In Manchester United, in Premier League, in professional football, you have to take every game as that's the opportunity for you to show what you can do. Yes, run of games are important. Run of games is cool, but if you use the same narrative, I could say the same for Donny van de Beek. He's been given minimal, if not the least chance. So yeah, and then people will say Jadon Sancho's been given ample amount of chance. It's one of those. The minutes that you play is the minutes that you have to show what you can do. And in the games, the odd game, he's had okay moments. But again, the reason why I say stay calmer is people thought Amrabat is going to come in and going to transform us. And I have learnt this lesson before, and I'll tell you again: don't fall in love with players on international duty.
Or loan players.
All loan players as well.
Mark is now live for his watch along. Thank you everybody for joining myself and Faz for the countdown to kick-off. We're hoping for a Manchester United win. Faz, will see you on the forum afterwards. Faz,
thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Mark,
make sure when you go to Mark's stream, comment
your
Zaha.
flags. Oh.
And your flags, comment your flags, but comment Zaha. Absolutely riddle the chat with Zaha. I want to see what he reacts, how he reacts.
Guys, thank you for watching the United Stands countdown to kick-off. Come on, Manchester United, and we will see you for the fans forum. Goodbye.